What's going on, guys? I'm so excited to share today's episode with you. We have a very special guest, someone near and dear to my heart. That is Mr. Adrian Conway. He is the co-owner of FNX, but also really an awesome CrossFit athlete, one of the best coaches in CrossFit you'll ever find. Frankly, in my opinion, he's probably the best coach in fitness, period. But we're not going to talk about those things. Instead, we really get to dive into 7 intimate and elite and really special questions for him that are more about him as a father, about him as a son, about him as a friend. Adrian and I are lifelong besties, so this makes it very fun, makes it a lot of, you get to see a different side of Adrian that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise got to see. This is a blast to record, and I really think you'll enjoy it. Also, if you are an FNX ambassador, definitely head over to the FNX Ambassador private Facebook group to watch an unedited, kind of unscripted version of all of this, where we actually have a little bit of a riff at the beginning, a little bit of a riff at the end. Really, you get to see a really hilarious side of Adrian that I don't think a lot of people get to experience just on a day-to-day, that someone like Little Brother might be able to bring out of him. And with that, let's get into it. We are here with the FNX podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Hooper. You can find me on the IG, InstaDaniel_. We got Chris. Was it Chris D? Right? Chris D. Jacobs.
Chris D. Jacobs. That's right.
Chris D. Jacobs on producing the pod.
Not Christy Jacobs.
Not Christy.
Chris D. Jacobs.
Oh, now it's going to be more fun because I'm definitely going to call you Christy.
Yeah.
It could suit you, you know?
Yeah. Christy.
You're plenty masculine to rock that name.
Yeah, that's true. I'm down with that. I'm okay with it.
That's going to be your elf name. And we are blessed. We are very fortunate. We are very happy to have my BFF. Mm-hmm. That's my boss friend forever. It's, the co-founder, co-owner of FNX. One of your favorite people you'll ever get to meet. Dr. Adrian Conway is here with us.
Thank you for the doctor thing.
Yeah.
It's just because he likes me, because it's not true.
It's not true. You don't have a doctorate.
Maybe one day. I don't know, but maybe one day.
I can see you getting a doctorate in something. Yeah.
Yeah. Busy day. But
Busy day?
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, so what you got going on?
Well, my day started with a 12-mile run, so there's that. I'm getting ready for a marathon.
Doing a marathon.
Yeah.
Same.
That'll come up. I'm gonna hit that October 9th. And then yeah, man, had some calls this morning with some different roles within the company. And then had some filming to do.
Shot some footage.
Some fun footage.
Yeah, we always love fun.
Fun was good. Hopefully you guys will see it on the IGs and maybe the TikToks.
Ooh, ticking the talks.
Yeah, and then we've got some cool stuff coming up to wrap this week, actually. Tomorrow, we got some gifts coming to the consumer's way. So I did some quick shots and teasers for that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, man, that is a busy, hectic day. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you got something going on this weekend too?
Yep.
What
Just getting away this weekend, man. Celebrating 9 years of marriage with my lady.
So I know your wife, obviously. I know her pretty well. Ashley. Shout out to Ash. Her dealing with you for 9 years is mightily impressive, man.
It's a big accomplishment, man. We got to celebrate every year.
Yeah.
September 21st is our official anniversary, but we celebrate it whenever it works within that usually a week or 2 week window. But yeah, got to celebrate it hard every year. I'm through the moon as long as I make it one at a time.
Yeah, man. About to hit that 10. What's 10? 10's another diamond, isn't it? You have to buy another diamond.
Isn't 10 tin?
Tin?
It's the tin anniversary.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
No, let's convince him.
What do you do? What do you do with that?
Tinfoil, man. Just
yeah, fantastic. I'll get someone to make her a ring out of tinfoil.
There you go.
Luckily, I think she would be less excited about another thing, like a substance thing. Not that diamonds aren't beautiful and cool, but she's active. She works out. She wears like a Kalo ring half the time, anyways, unless we're getting bedazzled and going out. Yeah. So I'd like to do like a bigger trip and try to invite as many people that were at our wedding as possible.
Let's go.
And just run it back. Maybe renew the vows.
Yeah.
Maybe just do it all.
Could I do another best man speech?
100%. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Cool.
It's got to be V2, version 2.
Version 2. I won't have my hair quite as long as what I did back then at the wedding. Ashley's
Sure,
mom.
you'd have to start working on it right now.
Yeah, I would. I don't even think it would do it. I don't think it would do it. My hairline up front is just not quite as friendly as what it was back then.
Nah, come on now.
Yep.
Gotta have the faith.
I'll never forget your mother-in-law telling me the week before the wedding that I had to cut my hair, and I just looked at her and I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't do it.
This is the one thing you won't get.
Yeah, you're not getting this out of me. I promise not to swear during the speech or say anything too inappropriate."
Yeah, the swearing you did a good job.
I didn't do
no
that.
swearing.
Yeah. And I said maybe a few inappropriate things.
It was still PG though. It was PG-13.
Yeah.
I'd give it a PG-13 rating with your speech.
Lot of implications.
A lot of implications and a lot of inside humor. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They were inside.
Yep. It's honestly like one of the greatest accomplishments I've ever had in my life.
It was a home run, man.
Yeah.
It was a home run. Grand slam.
So this is a bit of a problem for you and I because we can hang and just kind of chop it up and be horses but toots.
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys. I mean, how long is this gonna go?
I think we just keep it going.
It could go a while.
Yeah. But we are going to do so typically now we've changed the structure with the pod here.
Yep.
We bring on one of our sponsored athletes and we ask them 3 questions. So a little bit of insight for you guys is what we do is we send them 7 questions, 7 options, and we let them pick out of the 7 3.
Yep.
The goal is to keep it 15 minutes to tight 15. Now
Keep it meaty though.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. We want some meat on the bones for sure, but we want it to be something where you guys can listen to it on your commute, but also can just listen to it while you're doing the dishes. And it's not something that's going to be too heavy where it's like, oh man, okay, this is a Joe Rogan 3.5 hour commitment.
Totally.
While I like to think,
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that another time.
Yeah, and say it's coming.
We can run that back.
Yeah.
When we start to have more freedom in our schedule, it's happening.
Oh man, sign me up.
All you got to do is get the caffeine and or
Look,
the alcohol flowing,
Yeah.
and we could have a party in here.
So I am 5 days. Today's 4, 5. Today's 5 days that I haven't drank alcohol. Because I'm in Rise 45. I'm doing Rise. Not that I'm like cleaning up, but I'm cleaning up a little bit. I just spent a week in Mexico.
You're not in recovery from a problem or an addiction. You're recovering from a really good time though.
From a really, really
Yeah.
good time. I am
Balance.
I'm tanned, and I drank too much tequila. But what we're gonna do with you is we are going to. I'm gonna ask you. I think I'm just gonna go and ask you all 7 questions.
I'm down. Let's do it.
I
haven't looked at the list since you initially wrote it up, so it'll keep me on my
so
toes.
this will make it a little bit fun, and I have the questions wrote down because I don't have them memorized because that's just not the way my brain works. But someday I will. Question number 1 for you, big brother.
Let's do it.
What failure has positively impacted you the most for the future? What scar do you wear with the most pride?
Ooh, yeah. This one's pretty easy for me because I had a big aspiration of always wanting to go play in the NFL. Man, NFL football player was like my big goal, and I don't know if a lot of people would consider that a failure or not, but I was just so outward about it that to me it was because it was like, I'm gonna put my best foot forward and bleed out all my potential or bleed out all the opportunities I got, and that's the goal. That's the end game. Never made it.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it created a spark and a curiosity and a fire in my training career as a coach and as a fitness instructor and as a strength conditioning coach, like a lot of different roles that I initially served in. And it really ultimately gave birth to everything that we're a part of right now.
It's true.
Right. Like, so without it, and without that failure, I don't take the paths that I take. I mean, to be honest, I probably don't meet my wife. Who knows if I'm still a part of the church that I go to, which is everything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I probably don't start CrossFit, at least in the same way. Don't have the same relationships, never get on CrossFit Level 1 seminar staff, never have success in the sport early, not in the same way. And then, who knows if Skylar and I ever cross paths.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I wear with the most pride for sure. I'm sure there have been several on the road to that. And even after the fact, I mean, lots of failures within our brand and like places we wanted to go or visions that we had and where we're at comparatively 4 years in. But that'd be the one that I'd say.
The one. Okay, just an extension of that question. Do you find yourself like, because you have a lot of things going on, right? And you do a lot of competitive things. Like, I mean, CrossFit, obviously, but I think you take a competitive mindset in a lot of different aspects.
Yep.
in that though, do you still find yourself like actively missing football?
That's a good question. People ask me that almost every season, right? Every season that it rolls around, people that especially have been a part of my life, our lives the whole time, they're like, so you miss it? You miss it right now? And it's like, when I first start getting football vibes in the fall, like right now, it's September, man. This is the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
Like this is the most beautiful time of year to me because my memories are built around the football season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it was as kids growing up, picking out your pads and picking out your jersey and like, you know what I mean? Like some of these random memories. So of course there is the boyish side of me that misses that. Like I miss that. I miss being in a huddle and seeing other guys' eyes and like calling a play, whether I was playing defense or just being a part of a play call where I knew I was going to get to carry the ball, you know, where I was the target on offense. But then the adult side of the football player where I'm like, man, but 2-a-days though? Man, but like all the mice baths, man, and then like you know the grind of watching film and like the extra hours. Like I think about college and what that was like, and so there's aspects that I completely miss for sure. But then when I really get going and think it through, I'm like, but CrossFit is cool. CrossFit's cool.
Fair.
More variance in CrossFit.
I miss touchdowns. Like I think about touchdowns a lot. I was really good around the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
I was really good at making people miss. I was like, that was something where it's like, I look back and I'm like, you know, I've expressed this to you before, but like, I wear like my football career as a failure, just because I feel like I should have been better, and like I should have went further in my career. Yep. And I say that to say that every year when I watch certain runners, when I watch certain running backs, when I watch certain players, like I'm like, man, I miss that. Just that when you cross into that end zone and you're just like, own it.
That's it. That's it. And I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of things. I don't think there's anything like scoring a touchdown.
Man, there's
nothing like it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one.
Yep.
Okay. Next question, Chris. How are we doing on time? Was that okay? Was that like a?
Hey, we're
I felt like we crushed with that question.
That was a good answer.
The intro went long, but
right. And, hey, you can edit, right? I can do anything with this. I can make.
I think this we could just put it on like 5x speech, so it sounds like two chipmunks are talking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I bet our kids would enjoy
that. Might be good content.
We're only at 11.
Oh yeah, not bad. Cool. All right, sweet. Next question. What's one piece of health or wellness advice that you wish more people followed?
Great question. Yeah, you picked them, huh? You know, I will say this isn't, I hope this doesn't come across as a cop-out, but I just wish more people were curious about their health and fitness. So it's almost like I wish they asked more. I wish they were curious about their own body. I wish they were curious about the food they put in and like, you know, like, oh man, this really, you know, while they're smashing a 64-ounce Coke and Mountain Dew combo, like I wish they understood like that's going to become their cells in some degree, varying level down the road. And I wish people had that curiosity about their health and fitness. That's the thing is like I wish people were more interested.
That's good.
Like you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, and you can't know what you don't know.
Right, and I just wish people met themselves there. Like, man, I don't know much about my own self and my own body, and like this is my vessel, this is my thing. Like this skin, whatever I'm in, whatever you want to call this, like this is our deal.
Yep.
And I wish people would be willing to learn and ask questions about it.
Just the like complacency of life, right? Like getting around that complacency of life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I just think of it, it's like so many people are like, yeah, like this is just how I am. Like I'm not like for me, like, and I still do this to myself. I'll be like, I'm just not flexible. Like, yeah, man, of course you're not. You don't stretch.
Yeah, when was the last time that you spent 20 minutes in the morning trying to work on that flexibility?
Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like now I will say this, and this is just goes to our relationship. That second voice who says, yeah, you don't stretch, that's your voice.
Hey, I love it. It's my tone and everything.
It's your tone, your tone, your eyes, just like, yeah, hey. Like, because it's the like, I love you, but you're an idiot face. And it's just like, yeah, I need to hear it. Thanks. Yep. Next question.
Yep.
See, look at that. Killed it.
That was in and out.
Killed it. Man, we're good at this. What's the worst but common piece of advice in your profession?
Hmm. I would say this is I don't know if this is given out, but it is. It's given out to some degree. I think that people are taught and or learn, whether they're taught directly or they learn from seeing, they think that in order to get fit or in order to be healthy, they have to suffer.
Mm.
Like there's this association with, well, I'd like to get in shape, but it's really hard and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's not varying levels of that, but what I'm saying is, like, you don't have to go pick up a barbell and do 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups in order to get fit. Like, that's high intensity, and that is painful, especially if you're doing it hard. But as a lifestyle, it shouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to find the things that meet you where you're at so that you can do it step by step and inch by inch. And so I just think there's this facade and this attraction to doing hard things, which I support. I love to do hard things. I love to challenge myself. I love to be around people that like to challenge themselves and grow. And I do think there's characteristics that are necessary there.
Absolutely.
But I do think that from the outside in, one of the biggest obstacles that people face is that they just assume, like, I can't do it because it's hard and it's going to hurt.
I think you balance that line very well, you as an individual and also you as a coach, because you do understand even just something as simple as active recovery.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're doing this Rise 45, right? And it's like, this is like, you tell somebody I'm going to exercise 45 days in a row. And it's like, no way, that my body couldn't do that.
Totally.
And it's like, we had people like last time who completed it who were not in, like, they were in the worst shape of their life.
Yep.
By the end of it, they were in a step above that.
Right.
But it's not like they were like, oh, now I'm in the best shape. Like, no, you just are in better.
Right.
And it's like sometimes like it, and it almost like what happens though is that you feel like there's this facade of pass or fail. Like, if you don't kill yourself in a workout, you failed to work out. And it's like, no, man, some days like you gotta, like I did 45 minutes of cardio today.
Yep.
That Medusa.
Oh yeah.
I don't swear. I wanted to swear a couple times at you. It was awful. But the whole time all I kept saying is like, yeah, listen, what you're doing right now isn't going to look like this in 45 days.
Totally.
Just keep chipping away. You haven't done cardio in how long, man? Chill out.
Yep.
And people just like sometimes that, and it is definitely advice and it's definitely coaching because it's cool.
Yeah, it's the appeal, right? I think it is. It's that natural attraction that we have for that, and we want people to lift us up, and all those things can be done. But you have to. It's just like in CrossFit. You walk into a CrossFit gym, you scale a workout for someone. You know, we can all three of us can be doing a workout at varying levels and varying degrees, all still get an amazing stimulus, but our rate of perceived exertion can be different. You know what I mean? Basically, I can base my difficulty at a 7 out of 10 because that's how I feel today. Chris might be like, I'm 5 out of 10 today. You might be like, I'm 9 out of 10. All I did yesterday was a little bit of cardio. My body feels good. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And so I think just every aspect, nutrition, hydration, sleep, all of this stuff is like thrown into this. And it's like, yeah, all the aspects that we measure with Rise 45, all meet yourself where you're at. It doesn't have to be hard.
Preach that.
Something's better than nothing.
Preach that. All right, next question. When was the last time you felt joy?
I mean, I'm feeling joy right now, being on this podcast. Really, I mean, joy to me is something that I experience daily. I mean, I'm a dad with kids, and they test my patience all the time. They fight all the time. But, every now and then you get a glimmer of like, man, what a sweet boy, or like, what a sweet young girl. Or just even my excitement to get to have my wife alone for a few days, like that brings me joy because it took work to do that. There was planning that we had to do. We had to prep. We got to make sure our kids are taken care of. It's like, cool, awesome. We've been anticipating this for like the last 10 days. Like that's joy to me.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I mean, I don't know what it sounds like, but I really try to feel joy as much as I can all the time. I try to find joy in even some of the times that are considered struggles for people, because yeah, I'm grateful to be pumping air in and out of these lungs, man.
I do think that's a superpower of yours is and even when you're joyous, you're never too high.
Mm.
Right? So you're not like your joy, you're not a crazy person when you're experiencing joy. Because that then it's just strictly emotional. Right? Like your joy is holistic.
Yep.
And you like I mean, knowing you the way I do, I know that like you equate joy with the moment with appreciation.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And it's like, yeah, I feel that. And so it makes it I mean you're a very easy person to be around in that regard because it's like, yeah, like you're encouraging. Even when you're not saying things out of your way to be encouraging, but your presence itself is encouraging because you know, like for me, it's like I know in this moment he would not want to be anywhere else.
Nope.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
That's rare.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, and it's like this sounds really bad, and I never knew how to verbalize this before. But like Gary V has this. If you guys don't know, Gary Vaynerchuk is the one that I'm referring to when I say Gary V. He talks about gratitude a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And empathy. He literally says that if he's having a bad day, he like centers himself by thinking about like his wife dying, or his mom dying.
Jeez.
And it's like, I've experienced that. We've experienced losing someone unexpectedly very quickly that we're very close to in our every single day life, right? So, and people that we've seen pass away, like even the expected things that happen in life are sometimes very hard to deal with, and so those sobering thoughts and memories and experiences make me so grateful for any experience that I have, even if it's like, oh man, we lost a big account this week.
Yep.
Oh man, we lost a couple athletes that we really wanted to sponsor this week. They slipped through the cracks, or this happened or that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
oh, we had to let someone go.
Perspective.
Like all that stuff is hard stuff, but it's like, okay, in the big scheme of things, where are we at? Grateful to be right here. So I think that's. But I never thought about it that way until he said it, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I have this like theory about people that that people who've experienced extreme grief are recognizable to other people who've experienced extreme grief. And what it is there's a perspective that you carry that's different.
Yep.
It just makes you're built different then.
Yep.
It changes your makeup. I like my kids, since my kids are doing like with science right now, they're doing like atoms and like, protons and neutrons and electrons. And it's like, I like when my son was talking to me about it, one of the things that kept coming to my mind was like, yeah, I think like people who have this, like almost like they have more like neutrons or something, like, because it literally, you notice it. And so it's like, yeah. And when you have that, then it's all of a sudden, then you become more approachable. You become more fearless because you do. You're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
Right.
And so it changes things.
It does.
Oh, hey, really quick. While I have you here, we're currently running a drawing for the first 100 people to rate and review wherever you get your podcasts for our podcast. So what happens is, out of the first 100 people, we're going to pick one lucky person out of that little bunch, and you're going to get a $300 bundle of FNX products that you want. I'm not going to make you get anything. I'm going to let you choose, and you get to pick whatever you want. So, hey, listen, you want to get $300 worth of T-shirts? Sure. So $300 worth of pre-workout for you and your grandma. Let's go. Let's get it. But all you need to do is rate and review. That's it. Give us the 5 stars. Give us great ratings. That's all I ask for. I ask for your love. And how I'm willing to do that is giving you a chance to give you $300 worth of FNX products or gear. All right, let's get back to it. What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, that's a hard one. What do I want my legacy to be? Man, that is very difficult. I'd like to leave the earth with a few things, hopefully. But I really hope that, I mean, this sounds kind of crazy, but I hope that people know, right? When people think about me, and people close to me can share this because they know this, right? But like Adrian Conway is not that great of a dude. I'm not that nice of a dude. But because I do my best to stay as close as I can to God.
Okay.
And I love God. And his example to me is his son and the life that he led, that I do my best to cling tightly to that.
Yeah, preach that.
Like, that's my legacy, I think, is that, like, really by nature and my human nature, I could be a little brash, a little rude. Like, the thoughts that immediately come to my mind when people say things aren't very nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and,
No,
and
you're right.
I can be a bit of a hard individual.
Nah.
But other people might not have that perspective.
Yeah.
And I hope that they just know the reason they have that perspective is because of God.
Yeah.
And then I hope, of course, like the actions and the ways that I treat people, and I hope that people remember the way I made them feel when I was around them, and I hope that they felt loved and, you know, felt attention and felt heard and seen. Because I think that's clearly one of my biggest individual goals. But from a legacy perspective, I think it really has to be my relationship with God, because I think anybody can have that if they choose to, and I hope that people know that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I do think that's when people notice that something's different about you, right? People notice that something's different about you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the self-awareness to say, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's not a silver bullet, right? Like, you're not, like, your relationship with God, my relationship with God, God's relationship with us is not a silver bullet. It's not like a unique thing that no one can experience.
Nope.
So it's like your legacy is that of an everyman. It's just you're another guy.
That's it. Yeah, and everybody has, and it will always be different. You know what I
100%.
mean? Hey, we're gonna walk our walk and talk our talk a different way, but certainly attainable if people want it.
I love that. Love that. Aside from your profession, what is something that you nerd out on? Pause while you're thinking. I know you better than anyone, maybe aside from your wife. Right? Now, I also know the way you think still better than your wife. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
She knows you more intimately, you know.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hope so. but like, I know the way your brain works.
Mm-hmm.
When I got ready to ask this question, when I was looking at this question earlier,
You
I was
had no
like,
idea, huh?
there's nothing. So if you have
No
something,
idea.
like if you tell me, like, yeah, I've been practicing the ukulele for 6 months now, I am like, the amount of joy and maybe a little bit of like disappointment that I didn't know. So just know that our relationship doesn't hinge on how you answer this question, but it doesn't not hinge either.
Got it.
So aside from your profession, what is something you nerd out on?
So this again, because of all the things that you shared, it's 100% true. There's nothing that I'm just gung-ho about, right?
Yep.
Because I love what I do so much.
Yeah.
And there's so many different aspects to it, right?
Yeah, your profession's
Here at
pretty
a
broad.
supplement company, you know, I'm constantly trying to stay up to date on what other brands are developing, what is out there, what is on the band list and why, and like what is, you know what I mean? There's just so many questions to that alone.
Yeah.
Then I'm obsessed with human performance, right? Like,
Yep.
and there's so many aspects of that. It's cardiovascular development. It's all these old things that people did from 1900s that I'm curious about because, well, if they worked then, why wouldn't they work now? But then like there's new stuff and it's science. And so, yeah, I can nerd out for days about this. But something that's more new within the last year, a little over a year now, is real estate.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean? Like I would say it's real estate, you know?
That's a good one.
Is because it's something that I'm not yet, other than being a homeowner, like not yet like dove into.
Yep.
But I'm very curious about it. I'm constantly learning things about it. Trying to learn how to crunch numbers and decide what looks like a good investment, what isn't. What is this market telling me right now? Like so I would say that would be the thing is real estate.
This is the second investment answer that we've had because Brigham
NLTs.
Yeah. Is that what they were? Or
Yeah.
NTFs or whatever?
NTFs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things right now that are trending.
Non-fungible
something.
Yeah. NFT.
Take them or lose. That's
NTFs, non-tangible.
I thought it was fungible.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's NFTs.
Yeah.
NFC.
Is it?
It's NFTs.
I don't know what it stands for.
Again, another Gary V reference. He talks about those quite a bit.
Talks about it, yeah. He was advising us to do some FNX NFTs.
Right, which is essentially, is it like our own currency? Or is it NFTs the ones where it's like artistically designed?
Yeah. So it's a non-fungible token.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and so basically it could be like a digital ledger, essentially. So like what you were saying, like there's artwork, and so like somebody can buy a JPEG, right? And on like a ledger somewhere, it says that like you own that JPEG, but then that JPEG can be like bought and sold to other places. It could like, yeah, it's this whole crazy
Crazy to me.
But
make
somehow,
money off the internet thing.
yeah, right. But somehow they can't be like copied and like, you know what I
Right,
mean? Right. It's
exactly.
like,
Right.
it's not the same as like you having an image
Right.
that you took and then other people can use it and screenshot it and do different stuff. It's like this thing, yeah, that circulates, but just not in real.
Yeah.
It's so
Not
crazy.
fungible.
I need to look into those.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Who is the one person that you don't thank enough for your success?
There's several.
We got time, so.
I'd have to honestly say my mom.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I just don't verbalize enough with her in general. Meaning that like our communication is consistent, but it's not as deep as it could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just from like an honest perspective. Now, when we get together, we get to have deep conversations. It's a beautiful thing, but we live, a couple states apart. And so when we catch up on the phone, it's more along the lines of, hey, how the grandbabies? She wants to talk to my kids more. She wants to talk to me.
I understand.
But also, like through my years of success, I think it's always been very easy, even for you that's been with me almost every step of the way in different things. You get more. You've been a part of my successes and like direct contributor, like step by step in many different ways, whether it's playing youth sports, to us both being even at separate colleges, but in college at the same time. And then, I mean, you moved out here right when I was still playing arena football. Yep. Like, it's like you've been there.
Yeah.
And then a lot of my journey, especially on the stepping up stones, like have been away from
your mom,
my more immediate family. Yeah. And it's easy to tie my success more back even to the masculine side of my family. So it's like my dad, the people that were playing sports with me, the people that were in the gym with me training. But I think it'd be my mom because of that, her influence on the example that she always led, the no BS, you know what I mean? Like childhood that she fostered for me. Just learning how to speak to people, learning how to carry yourself, not ever taking the back seat. Like there's a lot of things that she taught me indirectly in her eyes, probably like maybe not even been completely unaware, that I think are a huge credit to who I am and who I grew up as, which created most of my opportunities.
So I had this thought when you got back from the games, because we went over and hung out with your mom.
Yep. Right.
And we were over there hanging out, and obviously, I love your mom. Your mom is one of the coolest people you ever meet. She's a blast. She's a lot of fun. And she's kind. And she's real. And she loves to put on a show. Yep. She loves to have fun. But while we were chopping it up, while we were talking, and I was asking her some like more, what's the word I want to use?
Like meaty questions?
Yeah,
like,
some meaty questions.
Yeah,
That's a good way for it.
Yeah.
Just because like there's stuff that she and I haven't had a lot of time of like just she and I to sit down and chop it up.
100%.
Right? So we were sitting down chopping it up. But one of the thoughts I had was, you know what? I think as you get older, you act more like your mom than I realize. Like you have a lot of Valerie Cox in you.
Yep.
That I don't like. I mean, obviously, like that wasn't my side of the family, right? So like, I don't always pick up on it. I always just see your dad.
Yep.
But with your mom, like I'm like, oh my gosh, like that mannerism, that was an Adrian thing. Or like then she'll say something, I'm like, Adrian has definitely said that to me, in like a what are you doing way? And I'm like, oh man, there it is.
Yeah.
So it's like you have. I mean, and Joni swears by it. My wife always swears by that. You look exactly like your mom.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, a little bit, and it's like, and then so it's like, I think that's a great one. And I think she's somebody who it's like, hey Val, if you're listening to this, you should definitely know that your baby loves you. And Adrian loves you too.
Yeah. Love her very much and appreciate her even for more than she realizes all the time.
All the time, man. That's good stuff. Well, that's it. Look at that. We killed it on time.
Hey,
I'm excited.
Yeah,
that was a comeback.
Man,
love it.
Let's do this all the time. But hey, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week with a guest. I'm not going to tell you who because that would ruin the surprise.
That would ruin it.
We'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend, and keep rising.
Peace.